Hey everyone, what's going on? It's John Burns. I just want to take you on a tour of my mother and my stepfather's house here in San Antonio, Texas. So I grew up in San Antonio, went to elementary, went to middle school, went to high school here, and then went on obviously to Boston for college. But every time I came home from college or whatnot, I would come to this home. I did not grow up in this home, but as you can see as we walk in the front door, there's a number of different memories from throughout my childhood here. As you can walk in right here, we have the Christmas tree. It's Christmas time here. Obviously, you can see it's not that. It's pretty sunny outside as you walked in. You can see the sun kind of beaming. So I think it's about 50 or 60 degrees here in Texas. So we kind of pan over here, walk through the formal dining area, and there you see it's a picture of my mother and my stepfather right there, looking very, very beautiful and charming. Another picture right there as well. So as you can see here, the picture's on top of the piano. I took piano lessons for years. Never became that proficient, but I still can play Mary Had a Little Lamb. So that's my claim to fame there on the piano. We'll move around here too. There you have where we will be having Christmas dinner tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. So that should be fun. And since we're downstairs, let me this is a picture here in the hallway of my brother and I. My brother and I went to military school for years. We went to military school, two separate military schools at this point, but we were both the head of our military schools. I was the head my 8th grade year. My brother was the head his 12th grade year, and we both were the first African American commanders of our respective military schools. So that's pretty cool. And to provide some perspective on that, we have a picture of my grandfather here. My grandfather's on the left, and he is picketing outside of City Hall here in San Antonio, Texas. And he was a big civil rights activist and advocate. He was the president of the Texas chapter of the NAACP for many years and worked alongside Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and the sort. So definitely a role model of mine and somebody I definitely followed and strived to be like throughout my life. Again, now we can walk into the study area. In the study, again, my mother kind of does some work here. When I'm home, I really utilize this space too and really get some good work done because it's kind of off the beaten path of the house and it kind of lets you sneak away for a little bit of time. So you can see different accolades and things of that sort. And actually, there's a picture of me and my cousin. Wow. I must have been like 12 years old, but I thought that was so cool. I remember that tie and suit combination. I loved it. So we'll pan back over here, and here is a picture of my brother. He went to the United States Military Academy at West Point. Major Michael Burns, former United States Military Academy Director of Admissions at West Point. Great picture of him. That is his senior year at West Point. So pretty cool picture there. And here is, remember I was telling you guys earlier, my brother and I were honored to be the two African American school leaders for our military corps simultaneously at the same time. So the news here in San Antonio did a big article and kind of expose on my family and my brother and I. As you can see there, that's pretty cool. It says commanding presence. And it talks about the history of our family and what my brother and I were doing here in San Antonio. So I was very honored to be involved in that piece. And people still come up to me, 14 years later, 15 years later, and still say, that was a great article. My family and I really appreciate that and really kind of have been following you and your brother ever since. So that's something my brother and I are really, really appreciative of. All right, so we'll stroll back through the living area back into the family room area. I don't know if you actually, first time in the family room area. And this is kind of where we fellowship and enjoy family time together. This is pretty cool over here. My brother got my mom a saber when he graduated from West Point as a thank you gift to her for her continued commitment and continued service and continued passion and support for him and for our family. And here you see just some more pictures of my family, my grandmother, my grandfather, my little nieces and nephews and things of that sort. And see here, again, Here's a picture of me when I was younger, a picture of my brother, a picture of me my senior year, and I was also head of my military school. The second head, I went on to go to the military school my brother went to, and I was the second African American battalion commander behind my brother, who was the first African American battalion commander. And there I am, cap and gown, Georgetown Law graduation, something I'm very proud of. And then, cool picture of my brother. He was an Apache helicopter pilot, so you can see a picture of him on board of his Apache in Afghanistan or Iraq. I cannot recall, but pretty cool picture there. We'll step outside for a second. So what I love to do, and what we did growing up a lot, was go swimming. We grew up in Texas, so if you can imagine growing up in Texas, you got to go swimming. So we were blessed enough to always have a pool at all our houses growing up. So here's a pool right here. I've actually only been in this pool a few times, but it's still nice to get in the pool, take a quick dip, especially in this hot weather down here in this Texas heat. So it's winter time here, but it's a little bit too chilly to go right now. But hopefully we get the heater going. Maybe I'll jump in a little bit later. And this is just a quick little tour of the backyard. In Texas, you can have so much land because we got so much land. So most of the houses we grew up in, we really were blessed to have a chance to kind of play outside. We played football with our buddies, with our friends. I was a big basketball player too, so I was always playing basketball. I'm really engaged in sports. So that's a really quick tour of the outside of my mother's house. And I just kind of want to take you guys to one more room before I let you guys go. And we're going to have to walk upstairs for this, so sorry about that. Bear with me. And as you can note, as we walk around the house, we have a lot of African American and African inspired artwork. Actually, I got this painting right here for my mother. I was in college, and my buddy's girlfriend was an artist, and she was painting in her living room one day, and as I watched her, the painting came, it symbolized my mother more and more and more and more, and I was like, is there any way I can buy that from you? It was around Christmas time a number of years ago, and she was like, you know what, John, I'm trying to get my artwork out. How about I just give it to you and tell your mom Merry Christmas? So I got this for my mom, gosh, when I was in college. So it was a couple years ago, but I think it definitely is a representation of who she is, her thirst for life, and just her ambition and her perseverance. I think it kind of encapsulates all of that. So I think it was a perfect gift and a perfect find for a perfect person. So I think that worked out well. And you can see, obviously, we're very, have a great Catholic upbringing. And so my mother collects crosses. So I brought a number of these different crosses back from her, from different places I've visited. And she's also collected some of her own as well. All right, so one more stop. And I apologize. I was holding you guys for so long, but one more stop. And I wanted to kind of show you this room. And this is pretty cool. And it kind of, again, has different accolades. My mom collects dolls. But I want to show you some awards and accolades my mom's received. This is called an entrepreneur with an amazing energy. This was an award she received from the city of San Antonio. And then you see different magazine covers and different things like that. My mom is a physician here in San Antonio, and she actually owns the biggest pediatric practice in the state of Texas. So pretty cool, and she's doing some great work, and she's really, really helping the underserved and the underprivileged communities here in San Antonio. So it's really where I get my zest for life, my zest for philanthropy, my zest for civic involvement and civic organization. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for your time. I hope you enjoyed a quick tour of my mother and my stepfather's house. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.